Hi, I'm Jaycie. Welcome to the Forbidden Cities, a Keeper of the Lost Cities podcast. A podcast where Sydney and I talk about Keeper of the Lost Cities books, theories, characters, ships, and more. Hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah,
we started.
We're recording. I knew
that. So this is the part 2 of the Myers-Briggs episode, and we are going to do more types besides just Sophie in this one.
We got distracted for an hour looking at MBTI memes, but it's research.
Yes, technically. I love the fact that we count memes as research at this point. We're like,
okay, but they help.
They do. They help a lot. And we found something that's going to be helpful for us, too. I'm going to pull it up on the computer. I'm going to read kind of a quick version of it. We found basically something that makes it easy to tell the difference between introverted functions and extroverted functions. And so, like, NI, that's introverted intuition. With all this information at my disposal, I know that this is the most likely possibility. That's like the theorizing thing. That's mine and Sydney's dominant function. Then any, cool story, bro, but what about the 78 million other possibilities? So that's the extroverted intuition. Introverted thinking, this all makes sense in my head. Extroverted thinking, cool story, bro, but how does it work in the world we actually live in? Introverted feeling is, this is how I feel. Extroverted feeling, cool story, bro, but how about how other people feel? Introverted sensing, I'm informed by my past experiences. Extroverted sensing, cool story, bro, but what about what's happening right now?
So accurate.
All right, so that's going to help us out a little bit. And
then also, if you have no clue what we're talking about, like if you did not understand what we just said at all, go back to the last episode.
Listen to
Also,
that.
if you still don't understand it after that, do your own research. And then also, we're not going to be typing Sophie in this episode because we did that in the last episode.
Yeah, so we're moving on from her. I kind of said that we would have to do Fitz first because we got a little bit into his. So that will be the one we start off on.
Click out of that so we can make sure it's recording. Okay, good.
Here,
Why is mine quieter than yours?
Are you further away? I keep leaning in every time I talk.
I should probably do that.
Anyway, so yeah, Fitz. So I feel like...
what's your... Oh,
that's like a balance thing.
Oh.
So Fitz, I feel like, is an extrovert. The way I usually kind of do it is I try to figure out if they lean towards extroversion or introversion, and then if they lean towards thinking or feeling, and then from there cognitive function them. So I feel like Fitz is more extroverted than introverted.
Yeah. It's like my dad. He seems like that.
Yeah. And then so he could go either way with thinking or feeling.
We already have a theory for him. Should we just say
I have a theory. Yeah, so
we have the same theory.
We're both ESTJ, right?
Yeah.
ESTJ. That's what we think. But I'm going to do it from the beginning and fairly. So yeah, that's what we're leaning towards. But here's the thing with Fitz. If you want to say that he is feeling because of how mushy he is in a flashback,
well,
I could sympathize with that.
Yeah.
Unless the cognitive functions make that impossible.
Well, here's the thing. If we're going with ESTJ, which at this point, it would be hard for me to switch how I think about him, and so I think he'd be ESTJ.
Just ignore this. I'm going to...
Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to wait for you because you need to...
Oh, sorry. Keep going. I'm just going to see if there are any memes that sound like him that are ESTJ.
Okay.
Continue.
We'll just...
Cut this
out. So anyway, what I was saying is, so thing about Fitz is the stress thing and how he goes to what you go to in your last function is what you go to in stress. That would be FI, which makes sense for Fitz because when he's stressed about Alvar, all of that, he goes straight to FI. This is what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And you need to know it.
That makes sense. Well,
yeah.
what's the other... FI?
Oh, sorry, I'm hogging the paper.
No, it's okay.
So
I can usually read upside down.
TSINEFI. That makes sense because he...
Oh.
Extroverted thinking.
One thing that drives me really crazy is extroverted intuition users. Not all of them, but I feel like a lot of the time I don't get it, and that's the function that took me longest to understand because I was just like I literally don't understand how your brain works at all. So I feel like that would make sense if that was Fitz because I've never like
well, but that's
his character's
also
consistent, but I don't understand his line of thought.
Yeah, that's true. ENFP is like that too, and I feel like it's like possibilities a lot.
Maybe it's his introverted sensing then that I can't understand.
So we're saying that Fitz is ESTJ based off of cognitive functions. His top cognitive function would be extroverted thinking, which makes sense if you think about how he looks at like
the exterior logic of the world and very rule following.
Yes, yeah. ESTJs are very rule following. SI, detail, detail oriented and
rule following.
Yep. NE would be possibilities, connecting things, which makes him somewhat smart, but like he doesn't have FE or.
I'm trying to think of just Fitz in general.
So like,
yeah. So FE and I is more like the theorizing, like putting stuff together and like predicting something and how it's all gonna come together.
NE is like throwing out possibilities, yeah.
And I can see him doing that a little bit in his cognitive training.
If you, like going back to what we said a second ago, NI is future possibilities, and NE would be like cool story, but
all the possibilities.
Yeah, cool story, but let's focus back on what about all this, you know?
Okay, so an ESTJ meme. I never made a mistake in my life. I thought I did once, but I was wrong.
Oh, and then also like the ESTJ. Think about how you reacted to Sophie and the matchmaking. Why won't you just tell me? Like, why do?
Because I can't.
Yeah.
And she's using TI, he's using TE, which is why it's just clashing. She's using her own logic, like I can't tell you because extroverted
because
feeling.
FE and like it would just ruin the world. He's like
and he's like TE because FI.
Yeah.
That's funny. Actually, it's like the complete opposite. See, that's what you predicted that because. I feel like a TE-FI and then a FE-TI, having those two in that order as your unhealthy ones, if I'm correct. Well, TE is healthy for him, but as the healthy and unhealthy ones, healthy and unhealthy, that makes complete sense. And why they couldn't get along.
100% ESTJ. Oh, ESTJ, INFJ relationship. I remember that chart. It's in the red.
Yeah, I remember looking at it because that was whenever I pulled it up, I was like, okay, we're going to find Key Foster, we're going to find SoFits, and I'm going to show. And I was just like, no. And it's still funny, too, that I was like, just randomly, I don't think I was looking at cognitive functions. I was just like an ESTJ. I feel like I would kill one. And then I realized it was Fitz, and I was like, oops.
I don't know if I know any. I wonder if my dad is one, honestly.
I think any other on my list at all, other than Fitz.
Yeah. So, I wonder if they're rare. Like, more rare.
Or just I avoid
them,
probably.
They're also, I've heard they're ambitious. Like,
I was going to say something. One person at my workplace, I think, may have been one. It makes sense. But anyway, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think they're ambitious, too. Look up and see if they're, like, ESTJ description, because I just want to double-check this.
All right. The supervisor. It just literally says ESTJ, the supervisor.
Practical, realistic, matter of fact.
Business. Elevated stress tightens jaw. Oh, no. Okay, I've seen so many times where it said Fitz tightened his jaw. That's amazing. Okay. They abhor laziness and cheating, and it said stick to their principles with unclouded judgment. They're often described by others as charismatic, focused and driven.
Yeah. And also,
they're focused on realism. They recognize tradition. Tradition. Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, usually moral citizen.
Judge Judy? I want to see Fitz be Judge Judy now. Can someone Photoshop his face onto Judge Judy for me?
I feel like 16 personalities might be helpful here. Because I know they go into that. Even though, we don't trust them.
Not,
Yeah. Don't use their test. But their descriptions might be pretty.
I didn't spell it right, but
I feel like their descriptions are okay, though.
Okay, so the 16 personality description, it has them listed as executive. Executives are representatives of tradition and order. Just off of that, I'm like...
Yes, I already see. Okay.
Honesty, dedication, and dignity.
Wait, before that.
Sorry. Utilizing their understanding of what is right, wrong, and socially acceptable to bring families and communities together.
Socially acceptable. Yeah.
Executives are the most likely personality type to feel like they have control over their emotions. That makes Fitz. That makes sense because Fitz is like, yeah, I totally can control myself, but he totally has anger issues.
Go to romantic strengths and weaknesses is helpful.
Yeah. There's different sections. It's awesome. Dedicated, seeking things to completion, borders on an ethical obligation for executives. Tasks aren't simply abandoned because they've become difficult or boring. People with the executive personality type take them up when they're the right thing to do, and they will be finished so long as they remain the right thing to do.
You don't have to read the whole.
All right. Strong-willed, direct and honest, loyal, patient, reliable. This is him, like, his strengths, okay?
Yeah. Creating order, excellent organizers. That makes sense for Fitz. Weaknesses.
Inflexible and stubborn.
Honestly, for anyone, makes it easier to type them. Yeah, inflexible and stubborn.
Uncomfortable with unconventional situations, like being unmatchable.
It says executives are strong adherents to tradition. And when suddenly forced to try unvetted solutions, they become uncomfortable and stressed. Yeah.
Suggest that their methods weren't good enough. Abandoning what's always worked before in favor of something that may fail risks their image of reliability.
Yeah.
Judgmental.
Oof,
yeah. They do not hesitate to let deviants know what they think, considering it their duty to set things right. That's whenever he won't hesitate to, like, yell at Keith about something.
Yeah. Too focused on social status.
Oof. Is Alina? Oh my goodness. I could see that.
What does it say? Scroll down.
Executives take pride in the respect of their friends, colleagues, and community. And while difficult to admit, they're very concerned with public opinion. Executives, especially turbulent ones, can get so caught up in meeting others' expectations that they fail to address their own needs.
Think about when Fitz's family is insulted like that. It hurts him. It's like, difficult to relax. Oh.
Fosters. So there's a word, the word fosters is in this, and it doesn't mean Sophie, it means like the actual word of fosters, like creates, but I just thought it was funny.
Difficulty expressing emotion.
Yeah. That makes sense. Feeling empathy is a weakness. They're not good at it. What else? What about romantic relationships?
That's partially why Fitzby felt so strange.
Because he didn't show emotions normally, and all of a sudden he was like, I'm going to hug you.
And I was like,
I'm going to kiss you. Sorry, I'm trying to find a summary thing. There are challenges, but executives take their relationships seriously and are willing to put a tremendous amount of effort into ensuring that they remain strong and committed, and that effort pays off. That makes sense. This all may sound a little stale. And executives are not spontaneous or unpredictable. Well, that doesn't sound too much like him.
Wait, are not spontaneous or unpredictable people? Well, because
he's not like
unpredictable in
his rage.
Yeah, he's very predictable until
this is it. They do very much
like anyone would be.
They do very much enjoy taking their partners on having fun. Executives address conflict head-on with simple statements of fact, a very rational approach, but subtlety and emotional tact are sacrificed in the process. Oof. Yeah, that's why I would kill one as an INFJ.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, strong
principles.
If you try to dismiss my feelings, it's not going to go well for you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Well, yes, we've settled on that. So, ESTJ. Yeah. Next one is Keith, because I knew that you'd want to do him.
Keith.
I'm going to write down Alina as a possibility one, because she'd be fun to do, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
There's such a long list.
Keith, we have determined, is like Fitz. He's pretty easy.
I think he's ENFP.
Yeah, the only thing we need to talk about is he ENFP or ESFP? Because I've heard people say he's ESFP because he's so focused on, like, entertaining. So... he's just not.
The reason I think ENFP is because he does seem to this is based off of my letter typing self, but to think ahead, which is more of an N thing than an S thing. Is ENFP, they have any, and then ESFP is who?
ESFP and ENFP have the same thing, except in ESFP's top they have SE, and in ENFP's top they have NE, and then in ESFP's lowest they have NI, and in ENFP's high,
so the main difference is ENFPs have intuition, and it's extroverted intuition in first.
Yes.
But the difference is ESFPs have intuition, and it's introverted in last.
Okay. I'm going to explain the difference between Keith and Riley here.
Okay.
The way my conversations as an INFJ with Riley work is Keith connects things.
Yeah.
Riley, what he does is he supplies me with the details, and then I connect them for him. It wouldn't work, like, I would not come up with those details myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how our friendship kind of works, is helping each other figure out things. My friendship with Claire, who's an ENFP, is bouncing ideas off of each other. We're both very bad at picking, like, we're both less good at sensing. Exactly. It's like we jump to connecting before we jump to just the straight facts.
Yeah.
And that's how Keith and Sophie work, Keith comes up with the possibilities, like, okay,
like whenever he's figuring out her parents.
Exactly what I was gonna say. He's like, okay, let's make a list. Here's examples. Here's and she's like, let's think about that. And then they both think about it together. Mm-hmm. They're both coming up with things like that. And then also Keith, I feel like his talking style is also more forward, future thinking, like possibilities too.
Yeah, like think about him in Never Seen. By the way, this shows that his extroverted thinking is lower down. It's more of an unhealthy thing, because he became very exterior logic during Never Seen, whenever he was under stress. But in Legacy, he was very much not sensing. He was very intuitive. He was very like, okay, let's think about these possibilities. So it could be Braun, but it could be not Braun. It could be all these other people too. It could be this, and it could be this.
And also Keith leaving in Unlocked. Spoiler warning. Just for everything. Yeah. Okay. Keith leaving, he's like, okay, here's what could happen if I stay. He's not focused on the present. He's like, here's the what I see happening. I have to do this to prevent that. He's more future thinking than Riley.
Well, yes. I hardly know Riley, but from what I know of Riley, Keith is more future thinking.
And Claire's the same way. So,
And
I'm just spilling all their secrets on here.
I noticed that they're not going to listen. I noticed Keith being NE and Sophie being NI, in that he was like, okay, so here's a possibility, and then she would be like, oh my goodness, this would be all the implications of that possibility. Oh, it could be true. And then he's like, but it's not the only possibility. So here's the possibility, the thing that I read. Hold on, let me pull it back up.
And then also, go ahead.
With all this information I have at my disposal, I know that this is the most likely possibility. Cool story, bro. But what about the 78 million other possibilities?
Exactly.
That's very much them.
And then think about how he jokes, too, is I feel like he's like another person I know, INTP, who had NE as second. When we would tease each other and joke, we would be like, okay, so what if we got a time machine? What would we do with the time machine? And then, like, go through all these possibilities. And Keith and Sophie kind of remind me of that. Like, what's that thing with the feathers where he's like, we would all... Okay, it's like where he says, Sophie, if you cover yourself in green feathers and started running around screaming your head off, we would all join you. Just random things like that. He talks...
That's funny.
He talks in possibilities and...
For no reason, but, like...
Yeah,
we don't even question it.
Yeah, so... He's ENFP. I mean... Do we have to talk about that more? Except he's extroverted. FI.
I mean, he's more extroverted.
Yeah, he's more stick to my feelings than Sophie. Like, I don't think he really understands her. Because he's an empath.
Pressure. Because he's an empath, he has a good understanding of her emotions.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, he's like, I know if I were in your situation right now, this is what I'd be, what was it? He literally said something like, if I was in your shoes right now, I'd be losing my mind or something. I'd be freaking out. Yeah. I think it was during Legacy.
Yeah.
But I was like...
And then also think about, he doesn't care about societal status. Anything like that. He's like, here, which Fitz has FI too, but part of his personality is, I care, this is what I care about. Keith is like, I care about what I care about, and one of those things is not, like, status. Yeah.
Status isn't one.
And then also his feelings for Sophie. He's not... He feels for Fitz.
Yeah.
But, like...
That's because it's one of his sort of values, because he's like, I'm not going to do this to my friend. I'm going to be...
Just because he's a loyal person.
Yeah. I think that's definitely an ENFP thing.
Yeah.
But again, he is an empath, which sort of gives him a sense of extroverted feeling, but he uses it like an FI user. He uses it as in like, oh yeah, and if I was in your situation, this is how I'd feel.
Yeah. And then TE being low down. SI being super low down is the only one that doesn't totally make sense because...
Well, he's kind of had a lot of stress, so
Yeah.
he's used his SI more than probably the average ENFP would.
Yeah.
So that's probably
And
why
the thing
it
is,
sounds more common
Yeah,
for
and
him.
both he and Sophie have good memories, photographic memories,
Yeah.
which gives them a little
A little
up
advantage.
there, yeah. But then, what does SI do in stress?
SI and stress.
Yeah, look up ENFP
It
and
makes
stress.
you, like, think of too many details and just, like, brain's flooded with... Like, do you know his sticky notes thing in Never Seen?
That's exactly
That's
what I was
SI and
thinking.
stress.
Jinx. Yes.
We always do this. We'll text the exact same word at the same
Yes,
time, and then we're like, jinx, but then we do that at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. Keith is he's ENFP and he's precious.
Yes. And he's a turbulent right now.
And also, you should know that ENFP and INFJ are like the golden pairing.
Yes, it is.
And so you can't argue with that.
You can't argue with the Myers-Briggs types, guys.
I mean, you can, because they can technically they can work with anything, but it's just
It's like the
easier.
easiest
It's just
ones.
natural.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next I wrote Dex because we need to give him some appreciation.
Yes, Dex.
He's introverted. The reason I'd say that is because he seemed more like the type that likes to spend time by himself.
Did you type him as ISFP?
I think I typed him as something like that.
I haven't thought about Dex in a while because people who are good with computers confuse me. Let's just say that.
Okay.
Like how my other friend Joel, I just have a hard time typing him because he's good with computers. It just confuses me. People like that, they're just hard. So
I have him as ISFJ.
okay, let's look.
Okay. So what's an ISFJ's types? Introverted sensing first, so a bunch of detail. Does Dex remember detail easily?
No, he's not ISFJ. He does
Okay.
not. He has
Wait, is
FI.
that Joel?
Huh?
Is Joel ISFJ?
I think hi
That's
Joel.
what you thought, right?
If you're listening.
Does he listen?
No, he doesn't, but there's always the potential of me getting them
Did
to.
he read?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Fun fact about me. I was their book supplier.
Oh, so now they're like
Like a drug dealer. And now that I moved,
they're like, not gonna buy
Riley.
them.
Yeah, Riley is refusing to buy it. He's like, I don't have money. Yes, you do. I know you do. And then Joel, I don't know about Joel, but you know, usually I would give it to Riley, and then it would go to Joel. Would call dibs next. Joel's into the series. He's just, I don't think he's read Unlocked yet. So, Joel hasn't, and then Claire's like, she got distracted, and so she, a long time ago in Nightfall, and she's going back and reading through them. So I don't think any of them
I have a
listen.
friend who
But
got distracted
if you
in
ever get
Nightfall.
back,
Hi, Joel.
yeah, hi Joel, hi Claire, hi
You're
Eleanor.
an ISFJ.
Eleanor wouldn't. Well, Eleanor has listened, but
She listened to one, I feel like.
she might listen to this one. I don't know.
She left a review.
Hey Ella.
Does she like Myers-Briggs?
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Michaela does.
Yeah.
I have someone to compare Eleanor to. Everything's going to make sense now. All right. Dex, though. He's I something.
Okay.
And we can rule out ISFJ, so maybe he's I.
Yeah, he's not ISFJ because that's another
ISFP.
friend, I think.
My
Michael.
brother, Aiden, is an ISFP, and he's basically Dex.
Well, the thing about ISFJ is the ISFJ cognitive functions are SI and then FE, and I don't think Dex has FE.
That makes sense.
Dex is these are my feelings.
So that's okay. FI dominant is ISFP, which makes complete sense with Aiden. So I feel like, from what I know about my little brother Aiden, ISFPs have a tendency to have a crush for a very long time and know they have a crush for a very long
On
time
INFJ.
and be afraid to talk to the INFJ or INFP for a very long time. And yeah, Aiden acts exactly like Dex, and it's insane. Yeah, so I could totally see that. The second's extroverted sensing, which would make sense with him. And my brother, he's not like, he doesn't like math, but he's good at building stuff, and he's good at putting things together, which is extroverted sensing.
Yeah.
Right? That's what our extroverted sensing thing over here. That's the
Yeah.
one that mixes me up a lot. Cool story, bro, but what about what's happening right now? So that's putting stuff together
Yeah.
that's happening right now, being in the moment. Then introverted intuition. Wait, yeah, that's the right one. No, that's ISTP, sorry. Where is it? ISFP. Sorry, introverted intuition was right.
Yeah, and then it's
Sorry, I keep
T.
losing my spot. And then extroverted thinking.
Yeah.
So being able to use that still, even though it may be a little bit harder to, or using it under stress.
The only thing is he wouldn't. Okay. Yeah, no, ISFP makes sense. I'm just double checking.
He's probably ISFP A. Because you know how he's like snarky?
Mm-hmm. Look up ISFP descriptions because I just want to check.
Yeah. I'm like 70% sure.
People who are S are harder to type to me.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because we're in.
Yeah,
we're
definitely.
like, we don't understand you.
Yeah.
Adventurer. Let's see. I change a lot in the course of a day. I wake and I'm one person, and when I go to sleep, I know for certain I'm somebody else.
I don't know any. Well, actually, apparently I do.
Chances are Aiden's definitely. He's such an ISFP, and so is my mom.
Yeah.
Chances are they've expressed more than once the phrase, "Don't box me in." That sounds like Dex. Happy to be who they are.
Yeah.
Inspired by connections with people and ideas. Definitely
it sounds like
introverts.
little cinnamon roll baby Dex.
Yes, it does.
Oh, no.
Especially him in like book 1 and 2, whenever he's like jealous of Sophie all the time. Oh my goodness. Hold on. Just because they're alone, though, it doesn't mean that they're sitting idle. They take this time for introspection, assessing their principles.
Which is like Dex's matchmaking thing.
Rather than dwelling in the past, they think about who they are. They return transformed. They always know just the compliment to soften a heart that's getting ready to call their risks irresponsible or reckless. I think Dex just hasn't had enough so-called screen time. Yeah. If a criticism does get through, it can end poorly. Some adventurers can handle kindly phrased commentary, valuing it as another perspective to help push their passions in new directions. But if the comments are more biting and less mature, adventurer personalities can lose their tempers in spectacular fashion. That's how mad he got at Sophie in number 1, whenever she started talking to Fitz a lot. This is whenever Dex got really mad at her. And he was like, and she was like, yeah, well, why do you have such a problem with Fitz anyway? And he's like, well, she had some sort of angry comeback and then just left. Sensitive to others' feelings and value harmony.
That sounds like when he, the ability restrictor.
Oh, yes. But living in the moment and with his little brother.
Yeah.
Living the moment goes both ways, and once the heightened emotions of an argument cool, they can usually call the past and move on as though it never occurred. That's Nightfall.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the kiss.
Yeah. Whenever I say that's Nightfall when I'm talking about Dex, I just totally mean the random kiss that's... I'm trying to figure out a way to form a meme of, like, Sophie telling boys she doesn't like them. On one hand, she could be like, yeah, I don't like you. And on the other hand, just kiss them, because that obviously shows you don't like them.
Yes.
Sophie, I'm a little confused about your logic.
Okay, I'm convinced about Dex.
Yeah, let's do...
Strengths and weaknesses? Or a romantic relationship?
I want to see if there's something about, like, one-sided.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mysterious and difficult to get to know.
Things are unlikely to ever grow stale. Rushing into long-term commitments is a sure way to scare them off. My brother won't even tell someone when he likes them. That's exactly Dex. He's like, wait, you knew? Whenever Sophie said that, like, she could kind of tell or something like that, he was like, he wanted to die inside. Developing some skill with planning can be a healthy area of growth. Learning to voice their feelings and communicate more clearly.
Yep, because Dex kind of was like, yeah, that makes sense. But I think Dex is pretty mature.
I think he's an assertive ISFP.
Okay, after Nightfall, he matured a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both my brother and my mom are turbulent ISFPs. I think he's an assertive ISFP, and that's why he acts a little bit more extroverted sometimes. He just would probably want alone time later. But you notice in like Legacy, where he was just like messing with everyone and arguing in front of Emery and like...
There are always memes about leaving Dex behind, but does he ever complain about it?
Not really. I mean, whenever Emery's like, you sometimes leave these friends out. Sophie's like, no, I don't. And Dex and Bianna are like, yeah, you kind of do. Yeah. But, I mean, other than in book 1 when he's really immature, he doesn't really complain about it. He's just like,
he
this is the way it is.
Seems to work well on his own. He always comes up. He's like, here's what I figured out. I made this to help you guys.
By the way, while I was by myself getting all of my mental energy back, I created this huge invention.
Yeah. I want a friend like Dex. Aw.
I mean, I have a brother like him, and yes, he's precious. I love you, Aiden.
I'm gonna call
He's going
Kylie
to just
out.
walk up to me and hug me.
Kylie thinks she's like, Aiden's such a good big brother. You're welcome, Aiden.
He's a great brother, honestly. He'll just walk up to me whenever he sees I'm sad. He'll just walk up to me and give me a hug, and I'm like,
oh, but that's Dex too. Okay.
Yes, it is 100%.
Okay, let's come back to her.
Okay, so Tam.
Or let's do Bianna first.
Okay, I figured you want to do her.
Yeah, she's
gonna be fun. I think she's extroverted.
Yeah, I think she's extroverted.
Especially with like her popularity.
Yeah. Would she be? I haven't thought about her much. My first instinct is ENFJ, but I don't know. I think she's.
I have any ENFJs. She's pretty. Let me see. 1 second. She's pretty. Yeah, feeling.
Yeah, she's not thinking like.
Kylie's an ENFJ.
Yeah, or that's what we're going with for now. I think.
You think she's like Kylie?
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
I think Bianna might be an assertive ENFJ.
Hold on. Let's look at the cognitive functions.
Mm-hmm.
So, ENFJ go FENI.
Mhm.
She's smart.
Mhm.
She's
trying to figure out Alvar's like reasoning for being on the Never Seen too.
Yeah.
She's very much like trying to piece that together to understand him.
And I relate to her a lot.
Yeah.
Just
with the FENI.
Then having
we have all the same cognitive functions, but in a different order.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That would make sense. Let's.
TI being her last makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
SE trying to figure out the details of Alvar. But like what's going on in his head, really, what he meant by once you understand the Vacker legacy.
And then FE, she seems understanding.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely understands Alvar more than Fitz.
She's very motherly. Is that an ESFJ?
Or like big sisterly?
Yeah,
is what it's more like, sisterly.
Yeah. Let's see. ESFJ.
No, yeah, she's got to be. ENFJ makes sense because listen.
Okay.
Fitz and Sophie, she's like trying to harmonize everything, pull Dex in. She's like the backup Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Tam, being nice to Tam and Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
There's not the way she reacted to Alvar was so much better than Fitz.
So she's ENFJ, right?
Yeah,
okay.
ENFJ.
Sorry.
So then thinking about the way she reacted to Alvar, because societal status seems like it was important to her, or like popularity was.
Yeah, but then she just kind of gave it up whenever she realized what was really important, sort of. That was her growth from book 1 to 2. And even like whenever everyone got super mad, she didn't get mad, just quiet.
Yeah. And even in our fan fiction, you'll see, I wrote her as like understanding.
Yeah.
It just was natural for her to understand Keith and be,
I'm trying to think of like, she, in Exile, because people's reactions in that are pretty telling, like the reactions under stress.
I could also see her like feeling bad for Keith, and that's why she has a crush on him. Okay, anyway. What were you saying, or had?
Yeah, in book 2, she was very like, she didn't scream at Sophie. She didn't really talk to Sophie, but I feel like that's kind of an FE user trying to numb themselves so that they don't get angry.
Oh, Exile?
Yeah, whenever Alden... I read it a few times because I just wanted Kenrick to be alive, but anyway, yeah, she's very understanding, kind of, like, she doesn't talk to Sophie at all, really, but she doesn't yell at Sophie.
So she's
between Fitz and Alvar.
Yeah, we should think about the difference ESFJ or ENFJ, because the only difference between ESFJ and ENFJ, we're looking at a chart, is their NI or their intuition and sensing is switched.
Yeah, and completely switched, like in a different order, and then one is introverted and one is extroverted in the other. So we can come back to our cool story, bro, what's happening right now, or I'm informed by past experiences. And then this is the most likely possibility. What's the other possibilities? I feel like my instinct is to go with she's NESI. That's what I feel like.
Let me think. I'm informed by my past experiences. Cool story, bro. What's happening right now? Is she more similar to Sophie, or is she more like
details and all the possibilities? Or is she more like, this is the most likely one?
She's probably actually ESFJ, because if she were ENFJ, I feel like she would join the discussions more.
And she would be more like this, like whenever she's trying to figure out about Alvar, she'd be like, oh, all these possibilities, this is what I think. Other than like, I'm trying to figure it out and there's so many reasons I don't understand.
Yeah. ESFJs are motherly too, so that makes sense, because think about who the discussions are usually between. It's I mean, Sophie talks to Fitz-ish, but it's usually Sophie goes to Keith and she goes to Forkel, who I think are both intuitives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm trying to think of other people that are included in it a lot.
Yeah, I wanted her to be ENFJ, but ESFJ makes
I'm going to see an
more
ENFJ versus ESFJ.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Okay.
see.
Oh, it's just comparing the
It's comparing the
cognitive functions.
critical of self under stress or critical of self under stress. Hold on. Okay, so the extroverted sensing one sounds a little bit like her in this. So the extroverted, under stress, either she's NE, extroverted intuition, or SE, extroverted sensing. So the extroverted intuition under stress, think of her during Alvar's trial, or think of her during exile. One of them may tend to catastrophize. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. To think of catastrophe when put under stress or have unrealistic expectations versus may neglect physical environment, not conscious of practical and tangible factors, neglect the present moment. The extroverted sensing thing makes more sense. Neglect physical environment. Do you remember how she was like, Sophie dressed up for Alvar's trial and it was like Biana was in a boring tunic and she had a plain ponytail with hair bumps, or that maybe that was in Exile. It was like she had a plain ponytail with hair bumps. She had a gray tunic and flashback. She tends to go quiet and numb, which makes more sense again. Neglect the present moment.
So you're saying she's ENFJ?
That's what it seems like based off of this.
Okay, wait.
Methodical and slow or excited by the unknown. I don't see her as methodical and slow. I see her more as excited by the unknown. That's NI. Because think of how she confronted Vespera. Mm-hmm. That was very much
and
NI.
She's pretty chaotic, to be honest.
That was very NI of her to confront Vespera and run up and like break the mirrors versus NE, which would be like thinking more methodical.
But now
and
I have to go back on what I said about the intuitives discussing more.
Mm-hmm. Is she there a lot of the time?
That's true.
Because I feel like
not.
That's why she's a part of Team Valiant now, is because the counselors were like, you never work with her.
Pause that. I want to look at when she shows up in Team Valiant.
All right. Cool, go ahead.
Okay, so I've been reading the part where Biana is talking to Sophie about her parents when Team Valiant is discussing. And so it's right after Biana, or do you say Biana or Biana?
I say Biana.
Okay. I think I used to say Biana, but you've converted me. It's right after they were discussing her parents, and she asks Sophie if they're allowed to help. And she's asking Sophie if she can do the thing with Bront and offering to help. So she says, keep in mind that if I were in charge of this, Biana added gently, I'd already have a meeting set up with Bront, and not because I think you're slacking or anything. It's just that reaching out to him isn't a thing for me like it is for you. How did you, Sophie started to ask, but her question... but her question trailed off when Biana smiled.
That was extroverted feeling and then introverted intuition.
Because you didn't tell us what time you had a meeting scheduled for, and I know you would have if you had one arranged, Biana told her. And you also didn't complain about Bront being stubborn and not agreeing to meet yet.
Extroverted sensing the not mentioning the meeting.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that you haven't contacted him, and no judgment here. If I were in your position, I'd dread having to talk to him and stall doing it as long as I could. That's why I wanted to help. I can save you from the hard parts and get stuff taken care of faster. It's a total win-win.
All that FE, she's definitely...
Yeah.
There's FE, NI, and then SE.
She's ENFJ.
ENFJ, 100%.
Good. I wanted her to be ENFJ, but I doubted myself.
It is Biana.
Oh, okay, cool. Good.
I was hoping we were pronouncing it right because I didn't want someone to be listening, like how we pronounce Roy and Rui. We pronounce it
actually Rui?
It is Rui, yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. But I converted you to the right pronunciation without knowing it.
Will you pause it? I actually have to pee.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do Tam next. I think he will be easy because all we have to do is search which type is more emo.
No!
Okay, no, I totally could though. I heard that INFP is kind of, but he's not INFP.
Yeah, no, he's not. He's T.
Or INFP can have an emo phase is what I read. Yeah, I think he is T, yeah, because he's very, I don't know, not feely.
Let's see. Oh, I keep forgetting that when I clap, it's really loud in the recording.
Rest in peace, headphone users.
Sorry.
So Tam, something T. I want to say like INTJ, but I know he's not an INTJ.
Are you?
I'm pretty sure.
Sure. I've seen him type that. Oh, I haven't. I really haven't thought about that. About Tam much. Okay.
I don't think he's organized enough.
I need to see.
I don't know.
Okay, pause it. Let's just pull up something where Tam is having to think. And okay, so I just read all of Tam's short story. Skimmed it. And we are struggling between INTP and INTJ, but I think we're leaning INTP.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not INTJ exactly from what I heard, because an INTJ would be more disconnected emotionally.
Mm.
And I feel like he's more, like slightly more, maybe it's just because he's a little bit younger than my dad is, a little bit. But I feel like he's more emotional and more like trying to find clues and almost out loud put together stuff.
NETI.
Is he? Where are the
INTP
functions?
is TINESIFE. And I'm thinking about FE and how he glimmer. FE would make sense.
Yeah, it's a stress function.
No, but like
Just having it in
just
general.
having it in general. And then his protectiveness of Lynn. He's like deep down empathetic. He's buried it
Because of his shadow vapor stuff. Or
Uh-huh.
reading people with the shadow. You know how he can like tell if they're trustworthy or not?
Yeah.
If he takes a reading.
And one thing you said is he's thinking over intuitive, and that
Yeah, he's
that makes
very
sense.
logical. He's not
Yeah.
like jumping to the correct conclusion. He's like, I want to know all of the facts and all of the things, and then using my NE and SI I can try to put it together. But he wants to know stuff. With INTJ, it's more just like, I know what to ignore.
Yeah. He also he
I think
doesn't seem as concerned. He's not as concerned with what people think about him, which
Yeah.
you said is not your
INTJs
dad, but
aren't.
I don't know.
INTJs aren't.
I think that might just be a personality thing, because I know an INTJ who's concerned.
Is he an INTJ-T, though? Is
Probably.
he turbulent? Yeah. My dad's assertive, like 99% assertive. So that might just be an assertive versus turbulent thing.
Yeah.
Especially with thinking types. Turbulent thinking.
So we're going to go with INTP hesitantly, but like...
I think it's right.
Yeah, I think
he's
right too.
INTP-A.
Because he's not Forkel,
No.
who we think is INTJ.
Well, I have a few theories. Again, I haven't said anything about Forkel yet.
Okay. I'm just going with he's INTJ at this point. Yeah, okay. INTP. That makes sense, especially you were saying he's more like Bront than Forkel.
Yeah, Tam is very Bront-like. He's just like a baby Bront. It's like, if you read the things he says, like Forkel said something like, oh yeah, we need to do this, but we're not really sure about this detail and this detail and this detail. And Tam was like, oh good, I thought it was going to be hard. Which is just a very Bront-like thing to say. It's more biting than Keith's humor.
Yeah, and, yeah.
So I guess we can do Lynn.
And, like, I like Tam. And usually get along with INTPs.
Yeah, and that makes sense because Orly gets along with Bront.
Okay,
anyway.
Okay.
Lynn, we can do next.
Technically, according to Myers-Briggs, then Tam and Sophie aren't actually the worst ship. That's kind of funny.
So, Lynn.
Introverted.
Yes. And then she's...
To me, she's so confusing.
I understand her in a strange way. She reminds me of the INFP I know.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's INFP. I think she's... Maybe she's... Okay, hold on.
I just don't understand her. I don't know why. She's like, precious. I just don't... We don't... I don't know how to relate to her.
She's very quiet. You don't get a lot out of her.
She's very quiet and very good, which is okay. Have you you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles, have you? Okay, I bet a lot of people have. So, I have this thing where I dislike Kai from the Lunar Chronicles because he's so perfect. It's like he's like Fitz, but like Fitz perfect, but Lynn personality, kind of. I don't know how to describe him, but he just doesn't make mistakes. And my friend Eleanor doesn't understand, well, I think she does now, why I dislike him, because she actually likes him, but
that makes sense.
He's a great, he's a nice person, a great character. He just, I can't relate. Anyway.
I think, Lynn, let's see. So if I had to think of her, she's pretty in tune with her own emotions. She's, like, if you think about kind of the different little things she does, she's sort of artistic, which can be played into by your personality type.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, I see a lot of the time that observant or sensing, as far as, typing by letter, is usually listed as, like, the thinks in art kind. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if ISFP is right. This one is going to be a less definite one, by the way, because it's kind of like what I said in the last episode. Some of them we just don't have enough detail on.
Like, I was just thinking about Maruka, but
I would literally have no clue.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't even know where to start.
I just know she's probably assertive.
Is she introverted? Is she extroverted? I don't even know.
Probably. I mean, we could do it, but, like, not definitely.
I can't. I don't even know if she's introverted or extroverted. Because introverts can have random bursts where they're not afraid to confront people.
True.
Especially if they're thinking, but
I think she's
being a part of a friend group.
J.
We're like, she's an EXX.
She might.
XA.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so we're not going to do Maruka, but if Shannon writes her more, we would
even
love
Morella.
to.
We could do Morella.
Oh,
probably.
I forgot about... how did I forget about Morella? I love Morella. Okay.
She's extroverted.
Okay, so we got to focus because we got to get to Wiley, too.
Yeah. Let's do Morella and then come back to Lynn. That'll be easier, because Morella, I feel like, will be faster, because we know she's...
but I'm on the Lynn.
Okay.
I'm thinking about her.
My guess for Lynn would be, like, INFP.
Is she INFP or ISFP?
If we're sticking with Dex as an ISFP-A, she could be an ISFP-T.
Oh, I forgot. Okay. No, yeah, she's INFP.
Yeah. Is she in, or... Let's see, FI versus...
Could she be ISFJ? Wait. Could she? That would have FE, which I was thinking. She's more harmonizing and peace bringing, like, than an FI person who would be like Keith, like, I feel what I feel. Fitz, I feel what I feel. Dex, I feel what I feel.
Yeah, she might be ISFJ.
We're getting so quiet.
Yeah, I'm leaning so close to the microphone.
Yeah. Why do I want to say ISFJ now? INFP doesn't quite feel right. I don't know why.
I feel like she's more TI than TE, because she wasn't really, like... She used her own logic, basically, not extroverted logic. I feel like TE is more concerned about society.
She also... her control of her powers... Thinking about that, her doesn't it react to her emotions?
Yeah,
that's like Sophie's inflicting and how she's unaware of her own emotions. More of.
Yeah, that makes sense, because the simplest way I can think of to put it is, like, she's better at telling her emotions through what she's doing with the water, sort of.
Yeah.
We'll go with ISFJ as our guest.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
It makes sense. Yeah, because INFPs... I mean, the one person who I know who's an INFP...
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense with yours, especially... Well, yours is an assertive, right? The INFP you know is an assertive.
Probably.
I only know turbulent
but
INFP,
also,
so that's what threw me off.
Their vibes are different. Lynn and... They just... While Lynn and your mom makes more sense, which is similar, but Lynn and Aiden doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So, ISFJ's... Michael's an ISFJ. Does that make sense? Do you remember? I mean,
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, she is witty. Really
She's
witty.
probably more assertive.
Yeah, she's really witty and smart, but like, and less feeling, but...
I think that it makes sense that Lynn is S, not N, because she
Mhm.
doesn't do a lot of the theorizing. She's just like, protect my little bro, or my big bro.
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Yeah, and she's just like,
I'm used to saying
sweet,
little.
I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like an ESFJ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember when we thought you were an ISFJ? Before we knew anything about the cognitive functions?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did that for a while.
Who? You
Both
and...
of us.
Oh, I was?
Yeah.
I don't even
had
remember.
It written down in like 2018.
I remember thinking that I was T,
Mm.
and I remember thinking briefly that I was E, and then Dad told me extroverted and introverted were. I was like, well, yes.
No, we typed you as ISFJ a long time ago. Like right when I figured it out. Figured out about MBTI.
Introverted sensing.
And the NEs. I had no idea what we were doing.
It's saying,
just
like, I don't even have
huh.
an I.
Why did we say S for you?
I don't know. I hadn't done much theorizing at
And
that
then
point.
I was like, how are we going to write a book together if we're so different? Because I thought I was ENTJ.
Oh.
Or ENTP. Oh my
ENTJ.
goodness.
And ISFJ. Oh, man. I don't think that would end well.
And I thought our main character would be ENFJ. I still don't know
Mhm.
that. She's got to be INFJ for this
Oh,
to
yeah,
work.
we could make her.
Yeah, we can make her INFJ for this to work.
Anyway.
Okay.
Back to Keeper of the Lost Cities.
So...
Morella is next.
Okay, wait, did you write down Lynn?
Lynn's, yeah.
Okay, good. Morella. Wait,
Extrovert.
I have an order, and I want to do Wiley real quick.
Okay, Wiley.
Just because I was thinking about him, and I haven't thought about Morella yet.
I've got no clue on him. He seems more introverted because he wanted to process his dad a lot. He wanted to ask Sophie a lot about it. He seems, yeah. Well, yeah, he seems to, not think forward. Not that he's not forward thinking, but like he doesn't want to think about future possibilities a lot. He does want to, he is sensing, definitely. I think he's SE or SI is going to be high on his list because he asked Sophie a lot about his dad and why Prentice would do this, etc., etc. He wanted answers.
Yeah.
That's more of an SI, isn't it?
Could he be ISF? Could he be
ISFJ?
I don't know. Come on.
Okay, there are arguments about this, but I think Wiley and Lynn are the most adorable thing ever. And so him being an ISFJ would be awesome.
Oh.
Okay, let me think.
No, he's not ISFJ, but he might
He's
be.
not. He prioritizes thinking more, and he's more slightly more intuitive. I feel like
He's like Fitz mixed with. Could he be INFP? Have we typed anyone as INFP yet? Are you sure?
he's not INFP.
Think about my friend. And Wiley's pretty quiet. Could he be INFPA?
What's his function?
Well,
He's more. He's introverted sensing.
INFP has introverted sensing. But
Wait, what am I looking at?
But FI, well, I don't know.
He's not FI dominant. I don't think he is.
Wait, pause it. Oh, wow, it's...
Okay, we're back, sorry. Wiley, what were we saying? INFP. I could see... I can and I can't see him as FI dominant because I feel like a lot of his... Let's think. He's more logical to me.
Yeah.
Especially thinking about, like, even whenever Sophie told him about, like, her dad theories, he, like, seemed to be processing that, but that could be sensing.
Mm-hmm. Could he be ISTP?
ISTP, TI.
No, he's SI.
He's
ISTJ?
TI. He might be
SITE.
ISTJ.
No.
Mm-mm.
What's
He'd
TI
be-
dominant?
Just these two at the top. INTP and ISTP. He's not TI dominant.
Mm-mm.
Is he SI dominant? Let's see. SITE. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's our sisters.
SITE.
TE.
ISFJ. No.
That's one. That could,
I don't know. Are we sure he's not extroverted?
he seemed mildly annoyed with being
Yeah.
a part of the group. That's why being a part of Valiant.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm like,
No, he's not extroverted. He's not Biana. He's not Keith.
yeah. Or
Man,
Fitz.
look at all these introverts. Oh, yeah, Fitz.
We're
too.
like halfway. It's 3. I mean, if you count Sophie, and Morella's gonna be extroverted, so it's pretty even. I'd say he's not. What's he definitely not? He's definitely not. He could be extroverted. No, extroverted sensing would be extroverted if he was extroverted sensing dominant. Okay, is it introverted or extroverted sensing to want to understand what happened with Princess? Let's see. I'm informed by past experiences or what's happening right now. So he's definitely introverted sensing. So anything with extroverted sensing we can roll. I'm going to put a little tiny X so that I can use my eyes.
I'm just like,
I'm going to try
I need
this.
coffee. I drank it
Is
all.
it empty?
No.
We've had so much coffee.
There's like a tiny bit left.
Okay, let's see. So that leaves those.
Ooh, that last sip was really good.
Because the sugar falls to the bottom.
Yeah.
And then TI versus TE. How does it work in the world we actually live in, or this all makes sense in my head? I feel like he'd be TI. I felt like TE because I don't know. We don't know enough about him.
Okay.
Or maybe I'm missing something.
Should we just do like a IXT?
If we roll it down a bit. FI versus FE. This is how I feel, or how about he's FI?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
FI.
he's FI. Okay,
Okay.
so we can rule out this. That's FI. FI. This. Okay. So that takes us to ISFJ, ISTJ, ESTJ, INFP, ENFP.
He's not ENFP.
He's not ENFP.
Well,
How did that get left in? So that's it. We're down to INFP. Okay. This is like the 3 things I said. ISTJ, ISFJ, and INFP.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. ISTJ is a possibility. Yeah, all of these are possibilities.
Is he NI or NE?
NI or NE? They're so low on the function stack, I don't know. Well, unless he's INFP.
I feel like my instinct is to go with him being NE because him wanting to collect more data on what happened to Prentice versus jumping to an assumption about Sophie.
They're all of our options right now.
Oh, they're all NE?
Yeah.
Okay, the fact that I didn't know that and I still said it made me really proud of my NI.
Nice.
Okay. Okay, this is not him either because that's...
Do they all have the same... Oh, the only difference is he FI or FE? Because ISFJ is FE.
He's FI. Wait, what did I not...
Okay, so then we're down to INFP or ISTJ. If he's
my instinct is to say ISTJ because he does not seem like the ISFPs I know. Or INFPs I know.
Are you sure? Isn't your friend... Can I say his name?
His first name would be fine, yeah.
Isn't Will INFP?
Yeah. He doesn't act like Will at all.
Are you sure?
Will is a lot, like, almost exactly like the other friend.
Wiley just seems like a smart, quiet, nice softie to me. Is that... Like, I would, like, just a calming presence to be around. Like, having Lynn and Wiley as, like, your aunt and uncle would just be the best thing ever.
I
or,
feel
like, your
he
parents.
Can be, like, quietly judgmental. Just based off of how
can
he
do
acts.
that. Wait, who? Your friend or Wiley?
Wiley.
Okay.
Just based off of the way that he acts to Sophie in, whatever book it is that they meet in. I think it's Exile. Could be Everblaze. But I feel like he's more like...
But that could be his FI, which would be dominant for INFP.
INFPs don't.
I want to say INFP.
The INFPs I know don't think. Wiley seems to think. That's my hesitation.
But he has an E.
Let me find. Okay, this is what I'm thinking of. So I could be thinking wrong. Let me look really quick at in Legacy where he's talking to Sophie. 1 second. Hello. We're trying to figure out. Basically, we've narrowed it down to either ISTJ or INFP.
Okay, so he kind of does give me like less loud fits vibes, which would make sense because ISTJ and ESTJ are like they have all the same functions, just swapped. Okay, fine. Maybe he's ISTJ.
Because so this is the part that I'm kind of caught up on. What makes me
kind of makes sense. Okay.
This is the thing that makes me think that he's not INFP. Because the thing is, Sophie said carefully, still holding Wiley's stare, and this is in Legacy, by the way, whenever she's meeting with Team Valiant after she thinks that Bront might be her dad. If Bront was a part of Project Moonlark, it makes what happened to your dad a whole lot creepier. Wiley straightened, and his voice was about 50 degrees colder when he said, "I want to know the second you find out anything." "You'll be the first person I hail," Sophie promised. "Before you hail Mr. Forkel," Wiley clarified. "If this is true, I want to be there when you confront him. Make him look me in the eyes while he explains what happened."
See, at first what I said was, is that numb INFP, like going to TE? And Jaycie said she doesn't think her INFP friends would be like that.
You can tell me if your INFP friend is different, because mine are pretty introverted. But they would both be
She's not.
Like, at that point, they would just be like, "Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to them about it. Like, tell me later."
I wonder if it's an A versus T difference.
It could be.
I'm so torn. Because was I recording when I said that?
I don't think we were.
Okay. He does almost feel like I think I did. It was recording, was it? I don't know. He almost feels like a softer Fitz.
Yeah, I think we just started it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Should we just move on?
Oh, this is one other thing. He's trying to be, like, almost empathetic to Sophie here. It's like she was thinking about if Lady Cadence was her mom. Blah, 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 all of the endless lectures and sighs and scowls and criticisms is Sophie's thought process. "Seriously," Wiley said, squeezing Sophie gently until she looked at him. "Need us to change the subject, or should you have your bodyguards take you inside for a break?" Okay, whoa, for a second, that sounds like Will. That's what Will does to me whenever, like, I start getting stressed out at work. He's like, "Okay, but do you need to, like..." He actually tried to send me home early one time. He's like, "I can make up an excuse and let you go home early." Aww. I was like, no. She said, "No, I'm fine. It's a solid theory. Definitely worth looking into." "It can be worth looking into without you being fine," Wiley pointed out. I know, but changing the subject doesn't actually change anything," Sophie reminded him. "Neither just going inside and hiding from it." "Yeah, I know," Wiley said, as Sophie hugged herself as tightly as she could. "I learned that after my dad was exiled, and even more after I lost my mom. I think it's why Tyrion was so big on making me talk it out. It's like giving your brain permission to think what it's thinking and feel what it's feeling, instead of shoving it all away. So if you need someone to listen..." He raised his eyebrows expectantly.
Okay, so
I think I agree.
Here's the thing. Okay, INFP versus ISTJ. They're literally the same functions, almost in the same order. It's just you swap the first two. It goes like this. I mean, y'all can't see me, but, you swap them like this. So is he acting out of stress?
No, that was him. That was not stress. That's the most comfortable he had been with the group because that's the most talkative he was.
So then, are we going to INFP?
Yeah, because he had been extroverted thinking on them because he wasn't comfortable with the group. But then once he turned to FI and he's kind of nice now. Okay, INFP for Wiley. And just assertive. That makes sense.
I'm still hesitant, but let's go with it.
If you can get me to change my opinion, that probably means you're right.
Yeah, I guess. But, okay, just seriously, email us. Let us know if you're an ISTJ.
INFP. Or
INFP.
if you're an ISTJ and you're like, "Dude, but I am Wiley," tell us. And if you're an INFP-A and you're like, "No, I'm not Wiley," again, tell us.
Yeah. Just tell us any thoughts about this. Our email is just theforbiddencitiespodcast@gmail.com, so.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Morella We can do her pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then we might be out of time.
ENTP?
Whoa.
That's just my first thought.
Let's see. What's the
she's
cognitive?
dramatic. Not dramatic, but like drama.
But dramatic. Yeah. ENTP, NE, TI, FE, SI. Which, let me see really quick. I'm just going to say which Myers-Briggs type likes drama. Which
ESFP does.
Briggs likes drama.
She's witty and like dry though, which makes me think T immediately. ESTP?
ESFP is the classic drama queen. Is that? That's really?
Yep.
You're dead.
And Karis.
I know. Please tell Riley he's a drama queen. He would love it.
Yeah,
he would take it
he
as such a
actually
big
would.
compliment. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. ENTP, comedy horror. What did you say she was at first?
The first thing I said was ENTP, but I'm kind of taking it back. What if is she ESTP? Okay.
Oh.
She's She's got to be EP somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see J. I just can't.
She's impulsive.
Yeah. And possibilities. But also, she's got to be... She's EXTP. She's E something TP, I think. That's my gut.
She's extroverted intuition. She's introverted thinking, right?
Let me look. That would be
Introverted
ENTP.
logic.
Let me see. Where's ESFP?
I could see you bringing
Is
an
ESFP on here? Oh, it's... Wait.
Well,
ESTP,
not necessarily.
sorry. Yeah.
She's not necessarily in this order, but she's TI. She's NE.
Okay.
She's TI.
She's got to be ENTP because ESTP would be SETI. She's not SE.
Wait, let's say again. What's happening right now? Yeah, she's SE. She's not SI.
And, okay, the classic ENTP, like, whenever I see memes about them, they seem a little different from the ENTPs the ENTP I know. Eleanor, though it does fit. Eleanor, the ENTPs on like, memes are, like, super flirty and, like, witty and, like, all over the place.
I think that makes so much sense because whenever Morella came in, I was like, why does this remind me of Michaela so much? That makes and she's Michaela's favorite too.
Cool. Oh, yeah.
You always end up having your personality type as a favorite character or something very similar to yours.
Keith. Okay.
Yes.
Which is ENFP. So
yeah, either your own personality or one that gets along with your personality is usually your favorite character.
What was I gonna say? I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
I think she's SENE and then TI.
SE. What'd you say? SE.
SENE.
No.
Not in that order. In that order.
ENTP is FESI. She's good at figuring out other people's emotions.
Is she? Because in the first book, she like walked up to Sophie and she was like, "Here's the deal. You better not be annoying."
Well, but it's low on her stack. It's ENTP has it lower. But think about how she's like, well, if that's not right, then what is ENTJ? No, ENTJ isn't right.
Who's an SENE? Is that a thing?
I don't think it can be. It can't be.
Okay.
It can't be. Can it? SENE?
I just really see her
I don't think that's a thing.
I see her being...
No, I'm sticking with ENTP. Have you read Heroes of Olympus?
No.
It's like the second Percy Jackson series.
I didn't read that.
You need to. Leo in it, I think they say is ENTP.
I've heard of Leo.
Okay.
That would make sense.
But Morella and Leo would make sense because
E.
he's like Keith, but like Dexier.
Are ENTPs impulsive?
Yes.
You have my vote.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they are.
She's because she's like Forkle, trigger my ability.
Eleanor's pretty logical. That's the thing. She throws me off, but
also impulsive. Just random.
She could be.
I mean,
she's like scientific and impulsive.
Yeah. I feel like she's also just very sciencey in general. Like, she's a more organized ENTP. Eleanor is, not Morella.
I don't know about that.
Kala is... We're pretty sure that she's,
They're like mad scientists, so.
ADHD.
Well, Eleanor's organized in her head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
The TI.
Besides that. I think she likes
We'll go with
organization, but...
Yeah.
She
literally, Michaela, she's like, my room is so clean. I'm like, yeah, honey, your room's a mess. She's like, well, I really like it when things are organized. I'm like, well, then practice what you preach.
I mean, okay, yeah, Morella's pretty... I don't know. ESTP
so
also...
out of time.
I don't know. Okay.
We'll go
Let's
with
just
it.
go with
ENTP.
it. But, like, I'm hesitating and thinking maybe ESTP, maybe ESFP, maybe... I don't know.
We're not going to do this one
We're
because
not
we
going
don't
to
have
do
time.
Stina?
We don't have time.
Oh.
It's...
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
Okay, this took longer than we thought it would, but it was fun.
Yeah.
We got a lot of characters done, and this will probably be a theme because, yes, no, we didn't get orally done, but I am determined. Now I will not let it go. We will be doing a part 3 Myers-Briggs. Maybe not the next episode, but a future episode.
I think we'll definitely...
Because if I don't get to rant about how I'm literally orally,
It'll
I might
probably
die.
be a few weeks later.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to try to space these out.
Yeah.
But... Yeah, basically when we do episodes, we just pick things we want to talk about.
Yep.
And so we want to talk more about this, so
yes.
you're going to have to deal with it.
So
and we're going to do the villains.
Yes, and the episode after that. So my guess is there's going to be a total of 4 parts of the Myers-Briggs, but it's going to be broken up.
The first one's kind of just like an intro, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for listening.
And email us with if any of these are you, if you're... Yeah.
If we're wrong, just tell us.
Let us know.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Forbidden Cities podcast. Leave us a review and tell a friend about the podcast if you liked us. Email us with comments and episode suggestions at theforbiddencitiespodcast@gmail.com. And to follow us on Instagram, just search @Forbidden Cities Podcast.